apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuned to Apartment 5B podcast, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad with me, and in fact, as always, my brother Vern out the ATL. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Glad to be here, ready to rock.
I wonder how many people can tell what this week's show is going to be about. Prayerfully, y'all can. JR, R&B genius, Google, youngest in charge.
What's up? I'm ready to rock. I'm happy to be here.
All right. DJ Rec Run, who's now hosting these Twitch rooms that I had to give a kidney just to get into. Like, you talk about getting in the club, man. I couldn't even use a part. I couldn't even use Kill 889. I had to, bro, I don't know, but I'm finally in there with Twitch. What's going on, good brother?
Ain't nothing, man. Just trying to keep the vibe alive, man. Do my part for the culture. That's it, man.
All right, no doubt. Here's the thing, y'all. I see a lot of dumb shit on Twitter in my days, in my weeks, in my months, in my years.
That's how we gonna start.
One of the dumbest things I saw was, and it wasn't just one person, there was a slew of people saying that the Migos were like the equivalent to Run DMC. And it was like, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say, I'm gonna call it just ignorance that you don't know, that the young boys don't know. Your parents didn't raise you right. Your uncles didn't raise you right. Your older brothers didn't raise y'all right. So that's where Apartment 5B.
You ate lead base chip.
Lead base pain, can't tell time. Can't write their name in cursive. I get it. So if they didn't raise you, then this is what we're gonna do here at Apartment 5B. Like I've always said, we're like a church home here. We're gonna help raise you. So tonight's show is a salute show to one of the greatest, if not the greatest, hip-hop group ever, Run DMC. There you go right there. Everybody got their figures popping. You know what I mean? And you got JMJ. You come over here, you see him right there in the middle of the whole record. The whole record thing all starts with Run DMC. Everything. Shell toe Adidas.
I was wearing mine at work, yeah.
There you go. So we are going to be chopping it up about everything Run DMC. The first time we heard Run DMC, favorite 12 inches, singles, albums, their influence, their impact, are they a top 5 greatest group ever or duo? Just everything to talk about Run DMC today. So Vern, why don't you set us off, man? When is the first time you heard Run DMC?
It was either the 4th or the 5th grade. So 83, 84. So it's like that is I think the first time I remember. It was either that or Rock Box. I don't remember.
Right.
But yeah, and it's funny. Whenever I think of Run DMC at that period, I think of my man Andrew Ivory. What's up, Drew? For Ernie Powell Elementary, man. I don't know why he's attached to Run DMC, but he is. So yeah, it was something that we had never heard, man. What other rap stuff was out at that time?
If we're talking 83, 84, we're on the tail end of Treacherous 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're still probably dealing with Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, dropping some albums here and there. Curtis Blow definitely was still out, at that point, with his deal with Mercury. So it's really the Curtis Blows, some remnants, because we're moving away from people watching. We're moving away from the mixtape. We're moving away from the Park Jam era to now hip hop becoming this place where record labels are now actually signing you. And by the time we get to Run DMC, we're getting album deals. You know, a lot of the early 80s was 12-inch deals, and you would just, you know, kind of get a 12-inch. Let's see how that does. Okay, here's another 12-inch. But I think Curtis Blow was the first, if I'm not mistaken. Someone on Twitter will correct me because y'all motherfuckers really like correcting me. I want to say Curtis Blow was one of the first people to get the big deal with Mercury as an album deal. But yeah, so that's kind of like what we were listening to at that time.
Yeah, and so I you're probably gonna get into this, but like Grandmaster Flash, Melly Mel, even Curtis Blow, that was like my older Uncle Clifton's type stuff. You know, the boots with the stuff hanging off of them and the spikes and all that stuff. But this was more of a, okay, yeah, I could see that, you know. So that's what really caught my attention, and the music was not like anything I heard.
Yeah. I know for me, the first time I remember hearing Run DMC, I gotta say, I don't know the year, but I just remember it being like on American Bandstand or one of those shows, like Dick Clark or something like that. And it was just like, it was like seeing them, and it was just like, yo, like, what is this? During that time, of course, I've heard the breaks. I always tell people they have to remember the difference with me is my mother's a jazz musician, so I didn't grow up in the regular soul houses ready to, you know, clean on Sundays or Saturdays and all playing, you know, Curtis Mayfield. I grew up around all jazz. So, you know, you're hearing the Curtis Blows, you're hearing the rappers, the like, but watching TV and like seeing these two dudes come out in these black sweatsuits with the Godfather hats on, and, you know, just seeing Jam Master Jay, like that's what really caught me, because it was kind of like, I want to say this is probably pre Beat Street, so it's definitely maybe one of my first times seeing a DJ, you know what I'm saying, and then seeing him with the DJ Coffin up there, you know what I'm saying, and then seeing the scratch, and it was just like, yo, I was hooked from then. It was like, it's off to the races with me. Whatever these boys are doing, I'm 100% with it. So I mean, JMJ is the person who we all know DJ Rack One, but I always tell people I did a little bit of everything. That's the young DJ Kill right there.
I love
Two
it.
turntables, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, that's all Jam Master J right there. You know what I mean? JR, what about you, man?
All right, so y'all know, I've said it many times, my house was hip hop with my dad, soul food with my mom. But I remember we were riding in a car, and I just remember my dad putting on a cassette of a Run DMC. I guess it was the debut. I know we're gonna get into that. But when my mom and dad would rap something together, it will always make me think, who is this? Because most of the time it's my dad doing everything and my mom just vibing to it. But when you got her rhyming and my dad rhyming at the same time, and they were rhyming sucker MCs. And from that moment, I was like, yo, who is, like, as a kid, you just looking and I'm like, they both kill, and they in it, like they're in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then my mom being such a soul head, she like hip hop, don't get me wrong, but when I'm seeing her like really like going in, and her and my dad kind of going back, and he's saying one word and she's saying another and going back, I was like, yo, who is this? So that's when my questions I started asking. I'm like, who the heck is this? And it was Run DMC. So
JR, how old were you at that time?
3.
Wow.
Hey, bro, it's a beautiful thing you can remember 3, man. I'm struggling to remember what I ate last week, so it's a beautiful thing to be able to remember that. What about you, DJ Rack One?
So for me, the first time, because you asked the first time we heard him, right, or saw him,
Right.
Ooh, I'm gonna say 85 because I didn't come back to America until 85. I was born in Germany and bounced around a couple of states and a couple of countries before I actually set foot here in the States for good. So had to be 85, 86. Had to have seen them on some sort of show. I couldn't tell you what it was, but I just knew whatever it was, I was like, yo, they not playing. Like the show was on point, and you could tell they came to smash the showdown. So had to be 85. Yeah, at least 85.
Right.
Probably the first time I actually heard them and was like, okay, what is this?
All right. No doubt, no doubt. Let's do this. Top 5 Run DMC songs that weren't singles. If you have them. If you only have the singles, that's cool. That weren't singles. I'm going to start with Daryl and Joe off of the King of Rock album. Man, it's the last song on that album. And I was just blown away by it. You know what I mean? Number one is 6 minutes. What is it? It's 6 minutes and 33 seconds. This is 1985. Nobody's making no 6-minute song. And the bulk of that song, like 3 minutes of that 6 minutes and 33 seconds, is Jam Master Jay scratching. You know what I mean? So I just love Daryl and Joe, Crush Groove 3. Just one of the craziest things. I mean, so many quotables. One of my favorite was No Calvin Klein, I'm just wearing leaves. Like, we're going to talk about the influence on gear, but that's one of my favorites. It's like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it is. Just an incredible song. I could remember being 10, 11 years old and just in my neighborhood, you could, somebody would say something, you'd be like, it's like that. And then your man would just be like, and that's the way it is. Like, it was just almost like what JR just said, you know, the back and forth. I mean, I think, you know, we'll talk about that influence, but the back and forth that we hear of Smith and Wesson that people love, the back and forth that we love from EPMD that people love, like, that was Running D right there. You know what I mean? Like, they originated that back and forth flow like that. You know what I mean? So that's my second joint. Sucker MCs, Crush Groove 1. Yo, I mean, just setting it off with 2 years ago, a friend of mine asked me to kick an MC rhyme, so I'm gonna say this rhyme I'm about to say. The rhyme was definite and it went this way. I mean, you just setting shit off like that. Now, I get it. Somebody watching is like, oh, gee, that's not that crazy of a line. Well, here's the problem. In 1984, it was. You know what I mean? That's why I look out what Vern said. Like, what was out at that time? Whenever I tell people to go back to listen to music, if I'm sending you to 84, I really want you to start listening to music in 81 and 82. I want you to listen to Curtis's Blow's, you know, basketball album. Then come listen to Run DMC. And then you'll understand why that 2 years ago, a friend of mine, you know, just over the hand claps sounds so crazy. Hit It Run. It's off Raising Hell. A lot of people don't realize this is a DMC solo cut. It's not like DMC had a lot of solo cuts out here. But I loved Hit It Run. The funniest thing about it is Run is a horrible beatboxer because he's beatboxing on that song and it's horrible. But I just always loved it. I love DMC finally getting his shine and being able to have his Dolo cut. And a funny story is I'm watching Crush Groove with Nate the first time last week. And, you know, Run DMC would always do the routine, you know, run. Like, literally, the first scratch I probably ever tried in my life was that, you know. And DMC is already on stage, and then Run comes out, and he's, you know, it's like, I'd like to take this time for us to say we're Run DMC and Jam Master Jay. And then he'd be like, you know, this is my motherfucking house. And they was like, does DMC ever get to do that? And I said, yo, I used to think the same thing. Like, yo, does this dude just go on tour for 40 years? It's just like, look at this nigga again. Like, it reminds me of, what's that joint I love with Ricky Bobby? Talladega Nights. When my man Ricky Bobby was like, yo, you think maybe one time I could come in first place? He's like, yeah, nah, nigga, nah, you just do the slingshot or whatever they called it. But it's like, did DMC ever like have a meeting like, yo, nigga, can you be on stage first and they bring me out? But so that's I think another reason why I love Hit It Run so much. And then You're Blind. Man, that was my shit. You're blind and you can't see. You need to wear some glasses like DMC. You're blind. You know, that guitar riff. We're going to get into the guitars because y'all know me. I'm going to break down all the production of Run DMC. But, Vern, what about you? Do you have any singles that are B-sides?
Yeah.
All right, what you got, bro?
I'm gonna say Sucker MCs like you said before. And DMC and DJ Run, dum diddy dum diddy diddy dum dum. We're rocking on it. Yeah. So that's here we go.
Here we go. Live in the front house.
Yeah. This one is odd. I don't know why I liked it. Well, it's a combination. I was born son of Byford, brother of Al, mixed in with Proud to Be Black. Is It Live? And then my favorite non-single It's perfection, bro. I love that.
Yeah.
The drummer just went crazy on that mug, man. So yeah, that's me. Perfection.
Man, so many dope songs. JR, what about you?
Okay, and you want it from 5 to 1, or it just don't matter?
It don't matter. You can just
Okay,
throw
all
it
right. Well, my favorite album cut is "Come On Everybody" from Down with the King. I love that joint. Q-Tip body.
That's the joint with Tip, right?
Yes, I love that joint. That's like my favorite album cut from them. Another one is "Back from Hell." I like that record. "Beast to Rhyme," was that a single?
It was a B-side.
Not really. It's more of a B-side. The hard part about hip hop at this point, and that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. The hard part was we're still at a point where DJs just kind of played whatever they wanted to play. You know, so it wasn't technically a single because it's the B-side, the Run's House, but it was a single because it did get airplay. You know what I mean? So, but I wouldn't call it a single per se because it didn't get a video. Like Run's House got the video. So
gotcha. All right, and then Hollis Crew, Crush Groove 2, and Hit 'Em Hard. Those are like my top 5 joints from them.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Rat?
My bad. I got You Talk Too Much.
Never shut up.
Yeah. Can You Rock It Like This? Crush Groove killed that because I was just like the way that they set it up in the movie. It just it fit. Beast to the Rhyme. I could sit and play with that for hours. Together Forever, of course. I think I ran the vinyl off of that one joint that I got because I got an original pressing of it, and I think I ran the vinyl off of that. Like it's just flat, like it don't even play. And then You're Blind.
Yeah, You Talk Too Much was so dope because around the same time, I want to say Escape had Big Mouth first.
It did.
You know what I'm saying? And then they came back with You Talk Too Much. You know what I mean? Which Young Boy Killer's like, yo, are they beefing? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
That little back and forth, like, yo, you know, you got a big mouth and it's like, you talk too much. Like, word, both of y'all, 2 MCs, 1 DJ, okay. But, yeah, that's dope. On the single front of things, I've got Rockbox, number 1. Rockbox is what basically introduced me to Run DMC. And it was also the video. You know what I mean? I know there was a video, and again, I'm 49, y'all, so people gotta bear with me. My memory ain't the same. I don't remember seeing a video for Rapper's Delight prior to this. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it wasn't out. I just personally don't remember seeing it. So I remember Rockbox being the first rap video that I saw. You know what I mean? And it was just so crazy, them pulling up with the Cadillac, them getting out, coming to the club with the leather jackets and the Godfather hats on was just crazy. I mean, my Adidas, you know what I mean? I rocked Adidas because of these dudes, you know what I mean? From seeing them in Rockbox. So by the time my Adidas drops, I'm already an Adidas boy like that. And I love the drums, you know what I mean? And we're going to talk about that from the production standpoint because my Adidas is basically just drums. You know, there's really no sample in there. It's just hard ass drums. Beats to the Rhymes. I called it a single just because they were playing on the radio all the time. You know, I love that whole Bob James Nautilus break. It's literally one of my favorite Run DMC songs. King of Rock, again, just to me a great follow-up. You coming off of the first Run DMC debut album, this joint right here. You're coming off of that, and then it just look up and you hear, you know, the King of Rock, there is none higher, Suck MCs, Call Me Sire. You seen the video, just incredible joint. And like Burn said, here we go, live at the Funhouse, man. You know what I mean? This is from '84, so I can remember Power 99 playing it. And, you know, this is like Wreck. These are the park jams. It's just, you know, Jay just going back. It's my first time hearing Billy Squire's Big Beat, which is a famous break beat. You know what I mean? And I could always remember listening to it. And there's this part where Jay doesn't go back to the drums fast enough. And you hear the Billy Squire like scream into the, you know, this is the big beat. And I remember being a kid like, yo, what's that? You know, why do that? You know, it only does it once. You know what I mean? So you can tell Jay just didn't catch it right on that joint. But again, like, you know, Billy Squire's Big Beat, just one of the dopest joints. And then for I'm gonna be Jodeci tonight with one more, Together Forever, like Rex said, Crush Groove 4 live at Hollis Park. I mean, it was the B-side to what Rec was talking about. Can you rock it like this? Again, just dope to have. And again, this is a testament to hip hop being so young that they're recording park jams and actually putting them out. You know what I mean? On the 12 inches. Neither one made the album. You know, I don't know why this didn't make King of Rock. I don't know why, you know, Here We Go didn't make the first album. But, you know, just a testament to like, this is how young hip hop was, that the B-side was just going to be like, just record the show we just did in Hollis Park, or record the show we did at the Fun House. So just, again, amazing times for hip hop. Vern, what about you?
I'm going to go a lot of the same stuff you said, but I'm going to try to mix them up. Peter Piper. Run's House. The King of Rock. Obviously my Adidas, and Beats to the Rhyme. I mean that it's just that song right there was just dope, man. I can't even describe it, but it was just dope. So that's my 5.
What about you, JR?
All right. See, I thought Sucker MCs was a single. They played that on Kiss and BLM. But this is what I'm saying.
It might have been, because again, back in those days,
yeah,
I don't even know if labels. By the time I'm on the radio, it's 93. Labels already knew what they wanted, so people would call me like, "Kill, this is the single. Play this." I don't think in like 83 people even. It was kind of like the vinyl came through. You just kind of played whatever was dope. The program managers at the station didn't even know what to play. So if there was a hip hop show, it was kind of like, yo, just here's an album, play whatever you want. You know what I mean? So,
all right. Sucker MC, Peter Piper, Rock Box, Down with the King, and I gotta say this, Christmas in Hollis.
That's what I meant to do.
Yes, because of Clarence Carter, Backdoor Santa. I have to. I wouldn't be a bonehead if I wasn't. Like
I'm sorry. The name of the song is Backdoor Santa.
Backdoor Santa, and that's
he didn't pull out the Clarence Carter reference. Oh shit.
I'm good. I don't want to know why it's called Backdoor Santa. I'm totally
right.
Good.
But they used that, so I wouldn't be the soul head that I am if I didn't say it. So yeah, Christmas in Hollis for sure. For those are my top 5.
All right, and what about you, Rack?
Leave it to JR to pull out the Clarence Carter reference. Man, so I got King of Rock. That's probably outside of Michael Jackson and Hall & Oates. That's probably the one video that if you ask me about MTV, I'm probably going to tell you about those 3 videos. King of Rock, just, I ain't got to explain it. Down with the King. That's how you come back. Yeah, that's how you come back. That's how you come back. My Adidas, for what it's worth, still to this day. I got Christmas in Hollis in there, and Peter Piper. Those are my 5.
All right. Now here's a crazy thing about Peter Piper, man. Those Mardi Gras bells, you know, number one, using Bob James Mardi Gras. Story behind that is LL was supposed to use Mardi Gras first. So for people watching, the sample was Bob James live at the Mardi Gras. And L was going to use that for Rock the Bells, because they said back in Queens, you would tell the DJ, yo, I want to rock the bells. And the DJ would know to throw on Mardi Gras because of the bells that are in Mardi Gras. But Run and L always had a little back and forth tension competition type thing. So Run got word of that, and then they used it for Peter Piper before LL could use it for Rock the Bells. So that's why we got the Rock the Bells that we got. That's that. And then Christmas in Hollis. The funniest thing about Christmas in Hollis is at that time, because I've had people ask me like, yo, man, this song is corny as shit. Like, how did y'all like this song? But again, I get it. But y'all have to understand that back then we didn't get a lot of hip hop. So anything that we got our hands on was dope. And at that time, making a Christmas song with Run DMC was crazy. You know what I mean? You know, maybe a way that people could understand it. Total's Can't You See What Big. You know what I'm saying? At that time, anything that we heard Big on was gold. And again, somebody's gonna say, "But Kill, can't you see it wasn't whack?" I know it wasn't. But what I'm trying to say is that Big was just so huge at that time that it didn't matter if he was on an R&B song. We didn't care. We just wanted to hear Big rhyme. And that's kind of how it was with Run DMC. We didn't care if it was a Christmas song. Yo, we be banging that like it wasn't a Christmas song. So again, you just got to take it back, you know. And the reason you got to take it back is because these people have done so much for the culture, and you know that making a Christmas song is now whack. Like I can't even imagine a hip hop artist making a Christmas song because hip hop is just too hard. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It wasn't like this in 85, 86.
Right.
You could make a Christmas joint. What you saying, bro?
You got to listen to it through 85, 86 years.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing people try to do on Twitter. Like, you know, oh, Martin was very... okay, if you were there in 93, 94, you would understand. You're 25 years removed from that, and you trying to watch it through that lens, it ain't going to work.
Yeah, right.
They won't know that Cass was watching the show just to see what he had on, to see what you was going to try to go cop from the mall that day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Real.
You had we say it all the time, but you literally had to be there.
Yep.
To get it, and I get it, Kill. It makes sense.
Right. All right, what is y'all favorite Run DMC album? For me, I gotta go.
You know yours.
Run DMC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything that's on here: Hard Times, Rock Box, Jam Master Jay. Which, again, I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's the first time on Wax. A song just dedicated to the DJ. Now, I'm sure there was a song about Grandmaster Flash again. You know what I mean? I'm not 100% proof positive, but for me, I'm always just talking about for me. This was the first time that I'm seeing like a song dedicated to the DJ Getting Busy, which would then go on to be the precursor for the magnificent Jazzy Jeff and all the other, you know, Scratch, Bring It Back, all the other songs that we would eventually get. I mean, these Crush Grooves, I've always wondered what Crush Groove 1 and 2, like, why, what made something a Crush
I was just about to ask y'all, what did that mean?
I need to ask somebody because I got no idea why we got, you know, Suck MC's Crush Groove 1, Hollis Crew, Crush Groove 2, you know, Together Forever, Crush Groove 4. Like, I don't know where the Crush, or why wasn't this like that a Crush Groove? Like, I don't know, like, what made something a Crush Groove? So we gotta figure that out. It's like that 30 Days, Jay's Game, just an incredible album. I mean, even just from the back, like, that's just 80s hip hop, you know, the sweatsuits, just everything, just an incredible joint right there. Vern, what about you? What is your favorite Run DMC album?
Easily for me is Raising Hell, because moment of honesty, that first album, I didn't really gravitate to Run DMC like that. But Raising Hell, I'm a freshman, brand new in Atlanta. Yeah. And then them niggas burned down the Omni. I'm like, nah, it's over. It's over. Yeah. But Raising Hell, man, they had Peter Piper. It's tricky. My Adidas, Walk This Way. Okay, Is It Live? Dope album song. Perfection, dope album song. Hit It Run album song. Raising Hell, I like. You Be Illin'. Dumb Girl.
Don't forget the dumb.
Yeah, Dumb Girl. Yeah.
Dumb Girl.
And then they end the album with we're pro-black, proud to be black. So yeah, it gave me everything. So Raising Hell for me, man.
Nah, I feel you. JR, what you got?
Okay, so I know for my pops, he's with you, Kill. He loved the debut. That was it. That was his. For me, now that I'm starting to get into music for myself, I love Down with the King. That's my favorite, album, because I mean, after Back from Hell, my dad was pissed. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, yo, what the, yo, like, he was like, nah, I knew my guys was done, but this, he was like, nah. So when we got, you know what I'm saying, when he brought home Down with the King, I actually would take the cassette and go in my room and play the joint. You know what I mean? So it was, for me, it was like, yo, I'm liking the vibe because of what's going on during that time. It also fits with them, you know what I mean? So that's my favorite with, you know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, Down with the King, D-Rock ate that. Come On Everybody with Q-Tip, Hit 'Em Hard, Can I Get a Yo with EPMD, what else is on there? Ooh, What You Gonna Do?
Gunshots. What's the Ooh.
Three Little Indians, and then Get Open with Onyx. That is my joint too. So I love that album. From the only joint they could have kept was that Mad Cobra bullshit. But other than that, I was good. I was good. That man. Look, I understand. Because we was doing that time, everybody, Super Cat and all them dudes was out then. So they had to get it too, but nah, that song is horrible. Nah. But other than that, that's my favorite album from them.
All right, and Rack, what you got?
I'm going with Raising Hell, man. I didn't hear King of Rock in its entirety, shit, probably till about 88, 89, just trying to catch up. But I heard Raising Hell, and that one stuck with me. It still does. I still play it to this day just to have something to bang if I'm going for like an old school vibe. So I'm going with Raising Hell, man. Dumb Girl is my shit. Dumb girl. My
Yo, the funny thing is, JR, when you're talking about Down with the King, I never liked that joint, man. But you know why? It's because I'm a sample snob, and how we that sample was special as Ready to Attack off the Legal album. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, this nigga done Ready to Attack. You know what I mean? Walk McDermott. Yeah. Everybody watches. Special Ed's second album, Legal. People, it may dope not. Album. I actually like. Do I like dope album? Youngest in Charge? I don't know, but it's a very dope album. People be acting like Special Ed only had one album. I know the album cover was whack. These two niggas right here to my on the right side can talk about album covers and my love of albums with whack album covers. It's definitely.
Got to put the feet up, man.
I ain't gonna do all that, but
Legal, the album cover isn't the dopest album cover, but it's a very dope album.
I gotta check that out.
Capadonna designed that album cover.
All right, let's talk about the cultural impact from Run DMC. So we can start laying this foundation for people about why it's so important. I'm gonna name some things and we can just go around with it. And if you guys have stuff we can add on. MTV. So I want to take folk, get in the DeLorean with us and Mark and Dottie and Doc and Marty, and go back to 83, 84. Friday night videos, MTV Raps is just coming out. And Night Tracks, and you were only probably gonna get, this is not now when everybody has an iPhone 11 and you can shoot your own videos and all. This is where you would almost, most rappers didn't even have a video. T La Rock is It's Yours is one of the biggest hip hop songs ever, no video. You know what I'm saying? So we weren't getting videos a lot, and then when we did, we only got to see one. I can remember staying up all night to watch Friday night videos just to see Beastie Boys fight for your right to party. You gotta fight for your right to party.
Kill. This is what you hate though. You stay up for an hour and a half, and then when you wake up, the TV is snow. You done
the TV used to go off. Right.
Yeah. You done missed the video you was waiting to see.
Everything. Right. So the thing is Run DMC, if I'm not mistaken again, it may have been the Beastie Boys, I'm not sure, was to me the first rap video that was getting played on MTV, which was huge. You know what I mean? First of all, they weren't even playing black music, if we're keeping it a buck. If you weren't Michael
Prince, that's it.
You weren't getting no play on the MTV.
At all.
So,
and they had to fight to get on there too.
Right. You know what I mean? So if Michael and Prince are the only black folk you seen, and then the next black folk you seen is Run DMC, that's kind of big. That's huge. You know what I'm saying? Vern, you want to speak on anything about MTV or the videos or anything
I
like
mean,
that?
like you said, I can recall that white dude. They was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I that's like a cultural moment because again, if you did see a black guy on a video, it was Prince or Michael Jackson.
Right.
So to see like these dudes in some Adidas, that was like, what is this? So yeah, definitely groundbreaking, earth-breaking type time.
And here's the other thing. It's different hearing a rap song and then being able to see those people on a TV screen. I know this generation will never understand that. But you got to understand, like, you know, I'm sure how it was for probably my grandmother when they didn't have TV. You had to listen to everything on the radio. You had to use your imagination. You know what I mean? So you got to understand to just be able to hear a song, not even know what these people look like. I always tell people, I thought I heard so much Eric B. and Rakim when I was staying in Brooklyn, and there were no videos at the time. When Paid in Full came out, I thought Eric B. was Rakim because he looked like a fucking Rakim. Like, I'm like, this nigga got cornrows, he all big, like, you look like a Rakim. We ain't never seen it before. The same way people didn't know Bobby Caldwell was white. Same way people ain't know Tina Marie. You were hearing the music without being able to see the visual. You know, so it was so crazy to hear these songs and hear Rockbox and then finally be able to see a visual form. Even though it was only on a TV, it still was incredible to be able to see that. JR, anything about MTV? Well, shit, you weren't born. But, I mean...
Right, but I was just going to say, it's just...
I'm like, this nigga wasn't even here.
But no, but like you said, with the whole thing with Michael and Prince just getting that love anyway, and they had to fight to get on there. So could you imagine what hip hop had to go through?
Right.
So to see, for y'all to visually see Run DMC on there, that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? For them to be black too.
Hey,
like,
Kill, you know, that remind me of a time, you know, let's say the 60s or the 70s. Everybody black will call everybody, hey, it's some black people on TV.
Yeah.
You know, it was that big, man.
Right. And I mean, JR, you made a great point with hip hop because again, it's hard for people to understand that people like me, Vern, Rec, I'm not sure if you're old enough, when there was no hip hop on the radio. You know what I mean? At all. You know what I'm saying? When radio stations would brag about it, like hip hop free or no hip hop, and you know what I mean? Because now hip hop is just everywhere. There was a time when it was nowhere. Like JR said, to get hip hop on when record labels didn't know what to do with it, radio stations didn't know what to do with it, you know. So again, it's just a testament to not only how dope Run DMC was, but just the movement that they made to prove to themselves. Because here's the other thing with white folk, you gotta prove yourself. They gonna give you, they may give you a shot. So they gave Run DMC a shot, but Run DMC was whack, it's a rap, and it could have shifted everything. But not only did they get on, but then they proved themselves to be dope enough to allow other artists to start to get on. You know what I mean? And that's what people really have to understand, that it's not just getting through the door. It's not just getting a job interview and then getting the job. Now you got to prove yourself to move up the ranks. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they did. They were able to prove themselves and move up the ranks so that other people could come behind them and be able to have that same opportunity. Rec, what about you? Any thoughts on MTV, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm just old enough to remember it. You figure, shit, man, my first memories of videos is probably MTV. We did get MTV in Germany. I don't know how or what the fuck, but I do remember watching King of Rock before I came to the States. But not necessarily knowing what it was. I was about 5, maybe 6. But I knew it was something different because all I had ever seen on the TV was Hall & Oates, Metallica, and anything like that. I had never seen that, you know. But I'm gonna tell you this though, I remember this profoundly. In Germany, like whatever they was playing in the States, the Black Soldiers was bringing that shit to Germany, and they was playing that shit. Like I remember we did a assembly. They wanted us to break dance to fucking Erotic City. We ain't had no business pop locking to Erotic City. But I'm in the first grade and that motherfucker getting it. But that just tells you, you know, that's what it was. Like you said, there was no hip hop. So whatever was dope, it was just dope. And then when hip hop came, you know, it was eye opening because we had never had anything like that before.
Right. That's dope. That's dope. Now, here's the other thing I always tell people about that, because the way we make this sound was fucking horrible. And at the time, it was fucking horrible. But looking back at it, we were exposed to so much other dope music and exposed to so many other different genres of music, because for some reason, I swear to y'all, it would be, the rap video would be the last video played.
Yep.
Like, it was never the third video or the like 14 videos. They're gonna be number 14. So you have to sit through Huey Lewis in the News. You have to sit through Duran Duran. You have to sit through the Eurythmics. You're gonna have to sit through Culture Club. You know, at the time you're like, yeah, you know, at the time you're like, I hate this shit. But then you look back and some of the greatest, that Duran Duran is one of my favorite groups ever. Top 5 of any genre. Like, I love Duran. And there's love Duran. But and again, this is why this generation is so different, because here's the thing, it's not like I wanted to hear that shit. I had no choice. We were kidnapped. Because if I had a pair of AirPods in 1984, I'm not listening to my dad play Luther. I'm not listening to my dad play Adidas. I'm listening to Run DMC 24/7, LL 24/7. But it's because we didn't have that, and you only had one stereo in the house. And whenever you went on a road trip, you didn't have control of what the hell was being played in the car. Right, so that's why I think our generation has such a great appreciation for music, because we were kidnapped. Man, I always tell people, kidnap your fucking kids. Tell them to take off them goddamn Beats by Dre's and the AirPods, and you gonna listen to what the hell I'm listening to. And I always tell people this story. This one dude got at me on Twitter. He was like, yo, OG, you said you like Chance the Rapper. I was like, yeah, I fuck with Chance. He was like, but then you also said you like Benny the Butcher. I'm like, yeah, I fuck with Benny the Butcher too. He's like, you can like both of them? I'm like, nigga.
He was serious?
Like whatever you want. Dead ass. Wow. Word is born to Jesus. True story. And I'm like, bro, you can like whatever you want to like, but I get it. This generation is only tapping into what they like. They don't have to listen to the radio and listen to the Power 9 at 9 and listen to 9 songs to get to the one song that they want to. This generation doesn't have to wait for anything. You just go to the front of the line. You can listen to whatever you want to listen to. You can watch whatever you want to watch. You can rewind it. You can DVR it. We grew up in a different era where we couldn't. We had to learn a certain value of patience because, I'm going to sit up here. It's 11 o'clock at night. I'm 10 years old. I'm tired as fuck, but I want to see this new Beastie Boy. You know, Vern?
So, all right, a couple of things. Whenever I hear Memories by the Temptations, 1983, our vacation was, our family went from Gary, Indiana to Aberdeen, Mississippi. And it's crazy. All my brother, my father had 6 brothers. All their families, we had a caravan driving from Gary, Indiana to Mississippi. And to your point, I'm in the car, I'm listening to Gladys Knight and the Pips. Memories, sweet, sweet memories. The Temptations. So
I'm waiting for JR. I'm still waiting to produce y'all album. So JR, something in the background.
At that time, I didn't appreciate it. But you know why? I'ma just say it. The golden era of hip hop was the golden era of hip hop because I wasn't the only one that had to listen to all of that kind of music.
Right.
Q-Tip, Primo, Pete, they had to listen to it too. But it gave them a better palette, wider palette. And what I say is, our musical ear is like a 64 box of crayons. A lot of these youngins, they got the 3 crayons that they give you with the kids menu at the restaurant.
That's the greatest analogy I've heard all week.
Bird going for the plate tonight.
Think about it. All right, so Kill. Let's take your mom. You getting Coltrane and Miles and all that stuff. Pops, you getting Luther and all that stuff. I'm getting Earth, Wind and Fire, the Commodores and all that stuff from my pops and my mom and Isley Brothers my uncle giving me jazz fusion and stuff, plus gospel. So I got all of that stuff, and then this Run DMC comes out. So it's a perfect blend in a music appreciation that I don't think a lot of people appreciate now, and I do, and I think, I mean, and then like you said, Kill, bro, I got a mix called Weird Science. I used to call it White Boys, but it's level 42.
DEI training at his job. DEI made him change it to Weird Science.
Level 42. Howard Johnson. Talking Heads. Eurythmics. All that, bro.
You got that on Spotify? Can you send that to me?
It's on iTunes. I'll send it to you. Bro, it's like 70 songs that I love. You know, it's like whatever mood I'm in, I can put a mix to it. It ain't just rap. And I weep for y'all that that's all y'all got. You got, if you ever seen I Think I Love My Wife, Kerry Washington coined what y'all have. She coined what y'all have.
Right. And here's the funny thing, Vern, the piece you brought in is perfect. You know, what I got from my mom, what I got from my dad. And now you throw in the MTV piece of waiting to hear rap videos. Because my mom wasn't playing the Eurythmics. My mom wasn't playing Culture Club. My mom wasn't playing Huey Lewis, Ray Parker Jr., maybe Ray Parker Jr., but she wasn't playing Duran and stuff like that. But so now I've got 3 totally different views of music, and then I'm also loving hip hop on my own. You know, so like you said, the people who were producers, the Tips, the Pete's, the Primos, all of those, they're growing up the way we grew up. You know what I'm saying? With a little bit of everything. But like I said, for that young boy to ask me, like he was really asking me, like, was it allowed? Like, how does your brain comprehend, like, in Chance the Rapper and Benny the Butcher? Like, you can only like one thing. But again, I can try to understand, because if that's all you listen to, and you're not shown anything else, then it seems weird to the ears or whatever like that. Let's talk about their deal with Adidas. This is the first time. Now, first of all, like, we're dealing with black folk getting clothing deals, which at this point is really just Dr. J, Magic Johnson, you know, can't wait to see the movie Air about Jordans, you know what I mean? Which is hard enough. Again, we talked about black folk trying to get on white folk television. You know what I mean? Now we're talking about black folk trying to get in white folk clothing lines and stuff like that, which is not an easy sell. Run DMC were the first hip hop group to have a deal with Adidas. Again, let me say that again for y'all. Run DMC were the first hip hop artists to have a deal with any clothing line. Fuck just Adidas, any clothing line. Which I
ain't got no show.
Which then led, again, because what you're gonna hear a lot during the night show is opening the doors. Which then opened the doors for LL Cool J and Stetson Sonic to get a deal with Troop. Which led to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince being able to get a deal with Lecoq Sportif. So again, these dudes are the pioneers, because now people are knowing, oh, I can look at them. Oh, Run made that deal. Adidas made that deal with Run. Oh shit, come on, y'all. Who we gotta get? LL? We'll go with LL. Oh, Jeff and Will just won a Grammy. Lecoq Sportif. Flood them with that. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta understand that, again, they're opening the door. So your favorite rappers on MTV and being on TV, you can thank Run DMC for that. Your favorite rapper, what you gonna say, Vern?
Hey, Adidas, if you're watching this show, y'all are missing out on the bag. We're 48, 45, 50. We have disposable income. If y'all would put out those sweatshirts that Run
who the fuck you lying to?
Oh, really? What?
all those Olympic sweatshirts, y'all would make billions.
Yes.
And make some size for the Bigfoot motherfuckers too.
Right.
Yo, I ain't even gonna hold you. Not even them Run joints. I be seeing old school Adidas shirts that they used to have. Even before the Run DMC line, that was crazy. You know,
the Olympic line,
But again,
would go crazy.
That would go crazy. But again, like, this is what they were able to do so that you could get so Jay-Z could get a deal with Reebok. That 50 could have a deal with Reebok. You know, this is all Run DMC. Y'all think Jay did this shit? Nah, nigga, this shit was put in foundation before Jay was fucking maybe even selling drugs, Jay. You know what I mean? So all the stuff that your favorite rappers are doing, again, is tied back to Run DMC, and just their cultural impact. I mean, Adidas.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just crazy. So
when you think about Adidas, you think about them, like for real, like. Like now it's so crazy. Like when I went to buy some these shell toes for real, it was a little a guy in there with his son, and he was like, "Yo, I want to get me a pair." He was like, "I started wearing these because of Run DMC," and the little boy was like, "Dad, who is this?" He said, "Don't you worry. When we get home, I got you. And you will see why I love these." And he said, "I'm gonna show you the videos and all that." And the dude, his little son is like, "Yo, I want a pair of these. I want a pair of these Jordans. I want this." And he's like, "Oh, the Adidas is where it's at." And he's looking like, for real, but he got them both a pair. But I wonder how that conversation went. So that's real funny. When I went and got these, I saw that. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about Run DMC, you think about Adidas. So,
bro, shell toe Adidas, man. I remember getting a pair and it just being like fucking mind blown. Like, you know what I mean? Like to this day, I love the design of the shell toe, like the actual toe of it, like that is like an actual shell, which was crazy. And I mean, we're talking about what Vern said earlier. Like, again, if you travel back to 1982 and look at the way these rappers were dressing, you know what I mean? It was almost like they wore costumes, like they came to a show. Prayerfully, these niggas was not getting on a train dressed like this. Maybe they were. I can't.
It was.
Okay, well, cool. They was getting on a train dressed like that.
That's why Melly Mel lifted so many weights, because he had to throw blows.
Right. But it was like turning on the TV to see Run and D dressed like niggas around the way. Because I couldn't even say us, because I'm a 10-year-old. I'm a shorty. I'm in 4th grade. I don't got no Adidas sweatsuit yet. You know what I mean? But being able to see them like dressed like the dudes, the OGs around the way and the old heads around the way, just made it, even doper. And again, I want to salute Jay, Jam Master Jay for that, because Russell said, Jay really spawned that. That's how Jay was. Jay was that nigga. Running D really wasn't no street dudes like that. It was like, yo, we gonna get Jay, and kind of whatever Jay dressed, that's how we gonna dress. Yep. So from the Lee jeans to the two-tone Lees, which was crazy back in the day, the Adidas sweatsuits, the no shoestrings in them. Bro, I'm walking around with literally no shoestrings in my Adidas, And I thank my mother so much. Moms, if you're watching, I thank you, because I know it had to look dumb as shit. You know what I mean? Like, boy, I just paid all that money for them sneakers, and you gotta take the shoestrings out and walk around with no laces. So all somebody gotta do is just pick you up out the sneakers and take your sneakers, and So I appreciate it, because I look back at hip hop and I'm like, a lot of shit we did look real fucking stupid. Like, nigga, you spending on your head, nigga. I just spent goddamn $10 for a haircut. You spending on your head, and you flipping. You gonna go to the emergency room? There ain't no patient first yet. Like, this is 1985 emergency room. You sitting all day. There ain't no iPad to sign in on the screen, and nigga, you filling out paperwork, and you up here jumping over your leg and breaking stuff. So again, shouts to mom. But just with the way they were dressing. Let's talk about these headlining tours. Vern, you talked about burning down the Omni. There weren't, to my recollection, world tours doing stadiums.
No.
You know what I'm saying? There were always going to be shows. I remember my pop taking me a show out 52nd and Park times, like Houdini, Roxanne, Shantae, things like Biz was there. I can't even remember everybody. But I'm talking stadium tours right here. Like, if we pull this right off my wall, if you've been to my crib, it's like a hip hop museum in here.
Yes,
you look at this right there, at the Spectrum Stadium. Now, it's not really a Spectrum Stadium. It was just Spectrum. But this is a world tour. You're talking about packing out wherever the Sixers play. Wherever your basketball team was, packing that out. Yep. That's what we're talking about. Wow. So this is just a piece of history right there. Shout out to my old boss Curtis. He said he was in Florida. He saw this. He thought of me, got it for me, and just so happens I was at this show, which made it even doper. Yeah. Mom Dukes took me. So this was just an incredible joint. But talk a little bit about burning down the Omni, Vernon. Why that's so important?
All right. So I'm gonna talk about the opening acts. You got LL Cool J,
It's amazing that you can remember this shit too. Like this is amazing.
I don't remember the order, but I'm just LL, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. I can't think, but anyway, to Run DMC, man, they were rock stars, bro. They were rock stars, and they were the first hip hop group that were rock stars. And want to talk about cultural impact? Rap was just some things some jokers in the hood do, but you didn't get rappers selling out the Omni, selling out the Spectrum, selling out the Meadowlands, the Meadowlands,
the Palace in Detroit.
Yeah, man. They and when they came out, man, it was big. I was talking about that with somebody this week. Music ain't big like it used to be. There was an aura about these dudes, man. They were rock stars. They are the king of rock. That's just not hyperbole. That is a fact. And so when they brought rock to rap, that made it a bigger thing than some dudes coming out the projects or whatever. It was bigger than that, and I'm thankful to Rush and Rick Rubin and them. I think it was more Rush for seeing that bigger picture, because we all know the story. Run DMC did not want to do Walk This Way.
No, they did not.
But boy,
it was the best move.
That's what they made.
Yeah, when they did that opened up the doors for everything. And if you think about Aerosmith, is a legacy legend type rock group from Boston area. So if you're doing their song, you're opening up the ears of their fans, to something different and keeping it funky. Hip hop blew not because of us. Because of Dwight's.
That's right.
I mean, it's just a math game. I mean, we 11-12% of the population in the United States. So you do the math. So yeah, man, here's another thing that makes that special for me. I'm from Gary. I've never been to no concerts. Never been to no. I went to one pro game. My grandfather took us to a Cubs game. So my first year in Atlanta, that summer, my mom. I mean, we was struggling, but my mom and dad got me a ticket to that concert. My boys Rudy and Derek went, and about 5 other people from my complex. And then my boy was visiting Georgia from Gary, so he went. I mean, so you. This is the first time I'm a 9th grade at the Omni with just my friends, no parent supervision or nothing. And to see that, man, I wish if they would sell that VHS or DVD or whatever, because I would love to relive that, man. But yeah, it was special, man.
Yeah. So again, these tours that we get in the Up in Smoke tour, all the Hard Knock Life tours, all these stadium tours, who you get? Who's the foundation? Run DMC. So again, it's no disrespect against, Migos and what they've done. I was using the example before we started recording. Steph changed the game, but not like Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not saying Migos doesn't deserve their props for what they've done and what, how they pushed and moved the culture, especially down south. Steph deserves his props. The game has changed because of the way that he plays it. But that nigga ain't fucking with Jordan. Like, let's stop.
No, that's an insult if you ask me.
Yeah, let's stop it. Let's stop it. And again, we just need to stop comparing people and just saying, hey, the Migos did some great shit. Just leave it at that.
Leave it at that. That's good. Yeah.
And see, you won't have us old heads talking shit. You know what I'm saying?
We just in that stand culture now. That's just what that is. And it's everybody on social media want to be like, my person is the best and they're best in this, and not realizing the ones that came before them. And it's like, respect the ones that came before. It's cool.
it's one thing I said earlier, and I like to, get my sample and clearance to where I get shit from. So like Chris Rock said, a woman ain't gonna let a little thing like sense stop an argument from happening. Twitter ain't gonna let a little thing like sense stop an argument. They're just not. Twitter is gonna Twitter, and it's gonna be a whole bunch of shit.
You right.
And that's just, I done seen y'all compare fucking Usher to a versus with Trey Songz.
Bro.
Like, nah, y'all, why don't we just compare him to Big Bub from today? We doing that, why don't we just say Big Bub can take Usher in the verse? Again, this is where
we don't even know who Big Bub is, Kill.
They honestly don't. Let's talk about the movies.
Yeah.
Because we got Crush Groove.
Yes, sir.
Again, just watched it with Naomi, and I'm explaining to her, because she's looking at the fat boys like, yo, daddy, you want to be like these niggas? Let me explain to you how this is. People always ask me, Kill, how do you teach Naomi about hip hop? Here's a perfect example. She's singing Father MC's, J.R.
Treat them like they want
to be treated. So I'm like, yo, where'd you hear this? She's like, yo, you was playing it in the car, so I Shazammed it. I like it. So I was like, you ever seen the video? So we watching the video. In the video is Mark Morales, who's Prince Marky D. And I was like, oh, that's Marky D. God bless the dead. And she was like, oh, damn, he died? I'm like, yeah, he's from Fat Boy. She was like, who? Then I say, oh, God, I'm the worst father ever. You don't know about the Fat Boys. And we go down this Fat Boys rabbit hole or whatever like that. And then it got to, and when I saw them in Crush Groove, and she's like, Crush Groove, what's that? It's like, fuck, I really am the worst at it. I didn't see that. So that's how we got to watching Crush Groove last week, and I was telling her, how crazy it was. I just talked about earlier hearing the music and how crazy it was. Then being able to watch them on the TV screen and how crazy that was. You now put that in a movie theater? Yo, that in 85, it literally was like me so excited for my mom to take me to the movies and me thinking, yo, I'm really about to see Run DMC, the Fat Boys, on a movie screen. Yes, and again, young boys, I get it. Y'all can't get that now because y'all see that shit all the time. Niggas got fucking 90-inch fucking TVs in their house. So, we going up there where a big screen TV was a 19-inch that we all had to share. So, so you also have to keep that in mind too. We ain't coming from an 85-inch to the we coming from a 19-inch to the big screen, right. And how crazy that was. And then to follow that up with Tougher Than Leather, which was a horrible.
I've never seen it. I heard it was bad, so I just never put no time to it.
Don't do it.
I said no.
But it may have set us back a couple of years. It may have set us back because I don't know when the next hip hop movie came out.
Oh shit!
Between that and Disorderlies, we weren't winning no fucking. We weren't even winning Soul Train awards. Fuck, we wasn't winning BET awards for that. But neither here nor there, they were the first hip hop artists to be in these big movies and headline like that. Were there any cultural impacts that I left out that you guys had on y'all list of what Run did?
Oh, I just had the movies, Adidas too.
Yeah, movies, Adidas.
Yeah, and stadium movies. Yep.
I don't think we missed anything.
Now, here's a fun assignment, y'all. Because I'm sitting here like, okay, is Run DMC a top 5 group? Yay or nay? Now, the problem became that I'm like, well, how do I even define group or duo? So then it went into, if y'all can see this on my screen, like it went into this. It just went into like this whole like
rabbit hole.
Yeah, like a family tree. See, y'all think niggas be watching, y'all think I just be bullshit. Like, no, I really put time and effort into making this podcast dope. So here's the thing. I think I define groups by at least 2 MCs and 1 DJ. Like, and the DJ is DJ, okay? So some of the people I got, Daylight, Tribe, Alcoholics, Public Enemy, Black Moon, The Roots, Brand Nubians, LONS, KMD, and also for a group like LONS, of course, you have more than 2 MCs. Mm-hmm. Duos to me were the Mobb Deeps, the Clips, Outkast, Smith & Wesson, 2 people rhyming. The question mark that I have a question mark over Gangstar. What are we calling somebody where there's 1 MC and one DJ, like Pete and CL, BDP, the OG was KRS and Scott LaRock, Jeff and Will, Eric B and Rakim. What are we calling them? Because in my mind, a duo is two people rapping.
A group.
Yeah, it's still a group.
So
Yeah, they still a group.
Because
So-
each one helps
Does
the other.
something to help the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's for the bigger, better,
Okay.
Yeah.
the
So
group.
we
It
gotta
helps.
throw them in the group.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing that always got me with Run DMC. What do y'all call Run DMC?
A group.
A group.
Yeah.
Now, I think what throws me off, I think what always threw me off was the name. Because the name is saying Run DMC. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So
I got you.
That's what threw me off. Because again, De La, you know what I mean? Same thing, two MCs and a DJ. But imagine if De La was called, I don't know, Mason, not Mace, Dave and Paz. If that was the name of the group, Dave and Paz. So I think it's the name that throws me off, like Salt and Pepper.
They
It's only
going-
two of you motherfuckers.
Yeah,
like,
true.
you know what I mean? Like, look at all these Run DMC covers. It's only two niggas. It's no Jam Master Jay. You know, Jay. This how crazy it was. Jay picture made the back. The nigga picture made it. You know, we had to Photoshop him in. You know, he was always on the back. You know, Jay would make the back covers. You know, finally by Tougher Than Leather, he made the front.
I was about to say he made it then.
You know, so I think that just what throws me off. So Run DMC would be considered a group for you all. Okay.
Mhm.
No
All
questions.
right, cool. So are they a top 5 group of all time? And I'm gonna go last because I just got a definition. So now I got to relook at my notes. So Vern, what about you? Are they a top 5 group of all time?
Yes.
Okay.
Because of the things that we stated before. They fathered this hip hop thing into a worldwide phenomenon, into the video world, into the stadium world, into the clothing line world. So even if their albums don't hold up, like you would never say, well, who had a 3 or 4 album run good as Run DMC? No, we're not going to say. It ain't just the music; it's everything about them that make them top 5 for me.
Okay. JR, what about you?
I agree. I think you have to put them in. You can't put their like music and everything on the same spectrum everybody else, because the ones that opened the door didn't have what the other ones had after the door was open. You know what I mean? So it was like Run DMC gave us what they could, and then once that door was open, somebody else came through and opened it even more. So it's like you can't really put them. So they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like that's enough to say what it is already. So you gotta, for influence, impact, let's take off sales, because at the end of the day, hip hop wasn't selling that big until the 90s anyway. So with that being said, you gotta put them for the impact and influence alone. So
all right. What about you, DJ Rock One?
Listen, if they're not in your top 5, then there's no reason to have this discussion, because they're the reason we're having it. Without them, there is none of this stuff.
Yep.
So somebody's got to start it. Somebody's got, like JR said, somebody's got to open the door. You know, the time does change and things do move forward, but without what they did, we don't get that. So I absolutely.
God, I hate being the black sheep. They do not make my top 5, man. They don't.
And that's okay.
They would, and this is to me where like the wrestling belts come into play. They are probably the most important hip hop.
I was just about to say, before you say that, it was you know how everybody do like they favorite and they best type of thing,
right?
For real. So you said most important. So I mean, so importantly, you put them in 5, right?
Because I'm sitting here because I got to keep it a buck. Because I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the groups. I'm like Gangstar, Tribe, De La, EPMD. You know what I mean? Eric B and Rakim. Like I don't know if they make my top 5 favorite groups ever, but to me they are the most important.
Okay, so you weren't asking You weren't asking, are they a top 5? You were asking, were they our top 5?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
Oh!
No,
A top 5.
they're
Okay,
not.
I apologize.
They're not-
I
they're
apologize.
not.
No. If that's the question, yeah, I'm with everybody else. They're not in my top 5.
No, they're not.
But
But
the most important
Yes.
hip hop group
All day.
has to be
Yes.
Right.
All
Run
day.
DMC. Right.
All day.
Yes.
All day.
Right.
Yeah,
I just want
yeah.
people to know that. Again, we do salute shows here, but I'm not going to get on your dick just because it's the salute show. So, I don't want people to be like, oh, damn, Kill, you just shit on Run DMC. No, I didn't. They just got the prestigious title ever, the most important. You know what I mean? That's much more important than being somebody's favorite. You know what I mean?
There it is.
That to me is like the importance of that. You know what I mean? All right. Favorite memory of Run DMC. Mine is, of course, going to see them live. I was saying to somebody earlier that if we're keeping it a buck, during 85, 86 to maybe 88, Houdini could have possibly had the dopest stage show. You know what I'm saying? And then someone asked me on Twitter, like, yo, better than fucking MC Hammer in 90? And I was like, well, here's the thing, bro. I never want to fucking go see MC Hammer.
Right.
And I'm not saying that in no disrespectful way. I just always tell people that for me, it's a total difference of being at a show and just seeing a show. So I can't speak to that because I never saw MC Hammer live. I've only seen him, perform on award shows or wherever it would be. It's the same thing. You watch a Lakers basketball game, it's a totally different environment than if you actually are at the game. So this is what I'm telling people, like, yo, yeah, you had to be there for some certain shit. You had to be there. You're not going to be able to understand the excitement of Houdini performing live just watching, the Freaks Come Out at Night video. You're not. You are not going to get the excitement of waiting in line and, oh my God, I'm going to see Houdini. Look at all the people and they doing my song. Like, it's a total different energy. It's like, imagine paying $1,000 to go see Tyler, and you're right there on the stage, and then you go to school the next day and somebody trying to tell you, oh yeah, I saw it on Prime. Yeah, it was a dope show. You're like, nigga,
I was there.
Sitting in your house like, nigga, I was there. Like, this nigga
Right.
me a pound. Like, what are you talking about? Like, so that's my favorite memory of Run DMC is seeing them at the 86 Fresh Fest. Bro, what about you?
Yeah, just seeing them at the Omni, bruh, you had to be there. It was electric. It was electric.
Yeah, and again, because the young boys be thinking I'm shitting on them, and I'm not shitting on them. But like I always tell people, man, like, please don't watch 30 Vietnam documentaries and then try and go tell my Uncle Remus about what Vietnam was like. Please don't do that. Please don't. That nigga may snap and fucking choke you. Like, don't do that. Like, ask some questions. Be like, hey, I read this book. Let me talk to you and learn some more stuff. Like,
That's what I do. Yeah.
keep learning. That keep learning. Keep striving. What's that? That's what friends are for. Am I fucking up the lyrics?
Keep smiling, keep laughing.
I knew that's where you was going, but I was hoping that's not where you was going. I pulled out a Dionne Warwick song.
Here's the thing, yo. If you know, you know, and you know I don't know lyrics to songs. I'm like, keep learning, keep teaching.
You're not trying to bring out the Dionne Warwick.
Hey,
Okay,
Kill,
so forget it.
let me add to the memory. So 86. I want to say, how we get down there? I don't even remember if my parents dropped us off. Let's say they dropped us off, and we were gonna ride MARTA trains back. We didn't realize that the buses stopped running at a certain time. So we rode the train from the Omni to the airport station because that would get us closer. We lived off of Camp Creek, College Park. Our apartment was probably 10 miles from the airport. So, but it was fun. We 13 with 14 years old. It's like 7 or 8 of us. So we rode the train to the airport station, and then we was like, yo, all right, these shuttle buses, they got a parking lot on Camp Creek, so at least we can get closer to there. So we politicked, and dude took us to the parking lot. So now we got to get from that end of Kemp Creek all the way back to the other end of Kemp Creek and down Washington Road. And man, it's 12:30, 1, 2 in the morning. we trekking down this mug, and we got to 7-Eleven. It was about 2. We starving. Rudy is the only one that had enough money, so he bought some nachos, and like 7 or 8 of us, 7 or 8 of us split.
Now, bro, hold tight for 1 second. Well, I want people at home to peep. Look at the smile on his face. Those are the memories that you share when you're there.
Yep.
You're not gonna have these memories if you just watch this on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have these memories.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And again, I'm learning when you deal with teens, the ones that I deal with, a smile means so much. And it's not just for our teens, it's for people in general. You know what I mean? I always say it's a love deficit, it's also a smile deficit. Mm-hmm. I want y'all to pay attention to the smile on his face and the memories that this concert and that this show meant to him. And that's one of the reasons why I'm like, you had to be there. It's not a knock. I don't want to take anything away from you in your musical journey of life. But it's something about when you're there that just doesn't compare to, again, like why do we spend all this money to go to these games? We got them on TV.
Experience, bro.
It's the experience of it. You don't have to buy a ticket nowhere. Just sit right there on your couch. There's an experience of having to go to the game. You know
what I said, I was 8, 9 when my grandfather took me to a Cubs game. I will never forget that. We were in Dominican Republic for my 20th anniversary, and the Cubs won the World Series. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning. Wow. When they were playing, and I'm like, I gotta stay up. My grandfather's dead. They about to win. I'm about to cry thinking about it. They about to win, and I gotta watch this for my grandfather. I don't get that. I don't get that if he didn't take me to see the Cubs. And then full circle, my grandson's first Major League Baseball game was the Braves versus the Cubs. So 40 years from now, he's gonna be saying those same things. It's the same reason I paid this money for these Hawks tickets. My grandson loved the game. He don't even like sports like that, but he loved being at the game with his poppy. Come on, poppy, that's swag surf. You know, and I buy him these $60 hoodies. This joker will break his neck to try to get a free T-shirt that they shoot in the stands, man.
Bro, I need somebody to do the psychological profile on why niggas lose that T-shirt and they come out. You don't even know if they got your size. Baby, sit at extra large. You don't know if they shooting no triple X's up there.
Hey, we can only fit smalls and mediums in that T-shirt gun. That's
right, you know what I mean? So, but I do not know what it is, but let that T-shirt cannon come out. Yo.
Yep.
Yeah, boy.
You know, or if it's Chick-fil-A night and the opposing team is 2 free throws, like, have y'all not? I mean, I get it. I'm in nowhere. I get it. I'm in nobody's pocket. But it's goddamn, is a Chick-fil-A sandwich like? I mean, they will lose their shit if they miss 2 throws. It's like, oh, we don't win the lottery. No, you just won a chicken sandwich. That's all y'all and a T-shirt. But you know what? Hey, fuck it, it's free. It's part of the experience. It's part of the experience. I'll chalk it up to that. JR, what about you? Favorite Run DMC member?
Like you said, you had to be there, but for me, I just see how my parents really react when they see them. So like when I saw them doing Sucker MCs and then I look at them, you could tell like they like hype for it. Like you could tell they got a feeling about it. And then when I started asking questions, then they was like, we gonna go home and we gonna go to Blockbuster and get you Crush Groove. And for me to watch it and to look at my dad, because Run DMC opens it, you know what I'm saying? And then to see how he lightens up when they came on the screen, it's just like, wow, this is clearly an impact that they made on them. You know what I mean? They wanted to rush home to go get Crush Groove. They probably saw many a time, but me asking, it was like, yo, we gonna go home and we gonna watch Crush Groove, but and adding, it's also R&B people in it, New Edition, Sheila E., all that. Yeah. So that benefits me too. But with them, they got, for my dad just to see that, and then for my mom, I was telling y'all off air, for her to actually meet, Grandmaster Jay, you know what I'm saying?
Jam Master.
I say Jam Master Jay, to meet him, and she was like, my cousin, her cousin's husband knew him. So he brought him in, and he would act like he knew everybody, like Mike Tyson and all that. So he brought him in, and this is, my dad was quiet anyway, and he didn't even speak. Like, he was just like, yo, Master Jay in this joint. Like, I don't know what to say. And my mom was like, well, sit on down. I need to ask you some shit. Like, she started talking to him, and she said she always remembered his smile. He was so humble. He was so cool, and you could tell he was for the people. You know what I mean? The way that he talked, because my mom was asking him, like, how'd you produce this record? And he'd be like, well, nah, I didn't produce that record. And my mom be like, well, really? Like, what sample did you use? Like, and he would just smile, and my mom was like, I know after a while, he probably getting sick of me, but ain't nobody else asking nothing, so I'ma ask. You know what I'm saying? Right. So she said they got in the car, and my dad was like, you ain't had to ask him all that. She like, nigga, you ain't asked him nothing at all. And he was like, you sat there quiet just looking at me. So just hearing the experiences that they had and all that, it just shows how much of an impact it is. And like you said, you had to be there. Like, you can watch all the movies and read all the books, but if you were there, you get to experience, like Vern said, like, just looking at him tell this story, it's just like, it's such a memory from it. So it's great to, just to see that. So that's kind of my memory of it. But then with me getting Down with the Kid and King album, and my dad is like, oh, you loving this record? Like, I'm taking it from him and I'm playing it in my room, and he like, finally, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm loving R&B at this time. Like, I'm blasting Mary and SWV and all that. He like, damn, we got one. You know what I'm saying? So for that moment with him, that's dope. You know what I mean? Just me playing, and he walking in my room, and he like, oh, you still playing this? You know what I'm saying? So that's just a great memory that I have with my Run DMC.
All right. And what about you, Rap?
Hey, Vern, dope story, man. Real talk. Real talk. Dope ass story. So for me, my uncle took me to see Crush Groove. I came back to the States in '85. And he was a freshman at Fairleigh Dickinson. He played on the basketball team there. And he used to come back every couple of weeks or whatever, because Fairleigh Dickinson is across the bridge from New York. And he took me to see it in Times Square. Now, if you've ever been in Times Square in the 80s, look,
real Times Square.
Man, listen.
There ain't no guys. Superheroes out taking pictures and none of it.
Hell
no. So I'm 7. So he takes me to see Crush Groove, and that's the first time I've been to the movies that I can remember in the United States. So it was an experience for me, and it's just something that we always talk about. We always, if I'm with my uncle, we'll sit down. We might watch the movie or whatever. But that's just something that me and my uncle had. But that's like one of the main memories I got, is just him saying, "Yeah, man, we're gonna go to Times Square. We're gonna go to the movies." Not telling me what I'm gonna see, but just knowing that I'm watching Crush Groove and having a good time with my uncle.
So all your family is giants.
I am the giant. My uncle is 6'2". You'll meet my other uncle. He's about 6'1".
Okay.
My dad is 6 feet. I'm a clean 6'4", 6'5". I am the giant.
Gotcha.
All right. All right. So here's the thing. Even though this is a salute show, one of my young boys who I was talking to about Run DMC, asked what happened. There has to be a decline usually. You know what I mean? So this is no knock. It's just history. It's just history. I make Apartment 5B to teach. This is a part of history. The decline started with this. Tougher than leather.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
1988. Now again, 2 very dope singles. Run's House was incredibly dope. Beats was incredibly dope. Then it just starts going the fuck downhill. One thing about Run DMC from a production standpoint, the bulk of their music was built on drums and guitars. You know what I mean? Guitar was still, which is a seldomly used instrument nowadays. You know what I mean? Like for a while, Just Blaze and Bink and Just Blaze kind of brought it back with sampling rock music. But you know, we go back to '84 with Prince with Let's Go Crazy, the guitar solos. Like guitars were very big back then. And so the bulk of their music was built off of TR-808s, which is a drum machine, and loud guitars. Rockbox, King of Rock, You're Blind. It was all those things, and they tried to keep that going in '88. That was played out by '88. You know, you're really getting into samples. Run DMC really didn't sample a lot. Peter Piper is probably the closest sample they got, which was really just Jay. Basically, like how I said, I'm Together Forever and Live at the Fun. I mean, Here We Go. That was just Jay going back and forth with the Mardi Gras. You know what I mean? But they didn't really use samples. But by the time this came around, I mean, dog, they got a song on here called Miss Elaine.
Yeah, man, I listened to it today. I'm like, oh my
Which
Lord.
sounds like a fake Walk This Way. It was just like, I felt like Mary, Mary, why you buzz?
never liked
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
was
wasn't
like
a fan of that
another
neither.
attempt.
Oh.
That was another attempt at trying to do, you know, another Walk This Way. And here's the other thing. This was produced by Davey D, who was down with Def Jam at that time. All these other records were either produced by Larry Smith, Rick and Russell, which really meant Rick produced this album. Mary was produced by Rick and Russell again. So I just felt like they were really reaching on here. There's a joint on here called Ragtime. It's the last song.
Yeah.
It's trash.
Yeah.
It's 5 garbage cans of
Yeah.
trash. It's Run trying to rap like he Slick Rick.
Yes.
I'm like, yo, what
That's
is
what
going
I
on?
couldn't tell what it was. It was
It was like, what is going on? I want to know the science behind this album. Like, when did y'all make Run 1000 Beats to the Rhyme? Was that left over from Raising Hell or something?
Probably.
These two don't sound nothing like everything else that's on this album. Now, so this was still done. And not on top of that, the other thing about them is that they're still rhyming like it's 1984.
Yes.
So that is the other problem.
Yes.
By 1988, we have Paid in Full. We have Criminal Minded. We have Ultramagnetic. We have what I declare is the greatest year of hip hop for me.
3 feet high and rising.
And they're still rhyming like
This is the Slick Rick.
85. Now they come back with Back from Hell in 2 years later. Now, I won't hold you. I'm watching videos one day, probably Rap City, and this joint called The Av comes on.
That's my
I'm
shit,
like,
man.
yo,
That go hard.
said this shit is kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? Joint's kind of hard. Okay, like let me see what's going on. The problem was I think it was a little bit too late. Like now they want to use breakbeats. Now they want, you know, they're rhyming over the same James Brown drums that Kane did, what Marley did with Raw in '87, and they're using that now in 1990. You know, they're rhyming over the Jim Browski break, which was used in '86, and now it's 9. So it just seemed like it was too late, too little. And then you're also now getting in the New Jack Swing, because I did like Pause. Pause was my shit.
Hey,
You know,
I like that too. I did too.
fire.
Pause was dope. Pause was dope.
I
And
like
Faces was kind of dope too. Faces was kind of dope.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like we had a group that was just didn't know what to do. I felt like one thing about Run DMC that it didn't hit me till today. These niggas really didn't have a crew of other MCs around them. You know what I mean? This wasn't a native tongue where, you know, they lies around Tribe and they around JBs and we all kind of sharpen each other's sword. It was just Run DMC. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Run was writing half the Beastie Boys rhymes half the time. So it's not like they could be around the Beastie Boys still, you know what I mean? So I feel like they were so big that they kind of lost touch. Going on these world tours kept them out of Queens, kept them out of the streets, kept them out of Vernon.
So that you said that. A couple of things. Run DMC remind me of this dude, you know, Hustler, that went into prison like 79, 80. So let's just give him 80, 81. And he get out at 89 and he still got on the same clothes that was fly at 81, and everybody looking at him like, bro, what are you doing? You ain't hitting no more. And then I recall an interview that DMC had. He said, man, they had just got back on tour from a tour, and somebody gave him Eric B. and Rakim, and he is like, yo, man, our career is over. It's over. Imagine the cadence that Run and DMC rhyme to compared to anything off of Paid in Full.
It's like print and cursive.
It's kind of how this generation don't get it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Running D was they rhymed a certain way. Like DMC, you know, he was the echo chamber before Greg Nice. My name's DMC, the all-time great. I write the dopest rhymes in New York State. Record his clock, producers rock. They want to be down with the king. Like that was his thing. And it never stopped being his thing. Like it's like if y'all watch My Wife and Kids, you know, it's like Cat Williams with the Triple Bye Birdie. Like I gotta hit
Oh no!
I gotta hit the Triple Bye Birdie. You know what I mean? My Wife and Kids fans understand that.
Yo, that's
they were just stuck. And not to mention, there was some dumb. They had a song called "Kick the Framalama Lama."
Yeah.
My dad.
Now
was pissed.
here's the problem. Russell, the A&R, somebody, your niece, your unborn child should have kicked the stomach like nigga. Kick the Framalama Lama, and the song is about like Fred Flintstone. Like it's like, bro, what are you rhyming about? They had a song here called "P on a Tree."
Tree.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, you know, you got nothing left when you want to write a song about pissing on a tree from drinking too much old weed. Like, but I get it. Now, The Last Hurrah, the Down with the King album. JR, I totally understand why you love this. It's why I say on the timeline, everything is an age cycle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This to me was the last attempt at we're just going to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Everybody shaved their head. Because keep in mind, Back from Hell, Jay had the dreads. Because I'll never forget on the ad, he took off his hat, he shook his head. Like, oh, Jay got the dreads. Like, yo, that's dope. This is what I used to want locks. You know, now look, I'm like, that nigga got a bald head. Like, all of them got the bald head with the walkaways on. And it was just like, okay, I get it. Y'all just going for this. I mean, Pete, Q-Tip, EPMD, KG, the Bomb Squad. You were just trying to get everybody that you can. Hit them hard. That is produced by KG. I want everybody to go home and listen to this song.
It sounds so uptown anthem.
It's Tretch. Tretch wrote everything.
Tretch wrote
Absolutely.
The clothes, everything. The second even for a minute, and then he said titty. If you know one thing about Tretch and his flow patterns, he's always going to find a little bitty titty ditty ditty. Like he's always going to. As soon as the rest said titty, I like old Tretch wrote this. You know. The funniest thing is it starts off with a piece of Uptown Anthem, and I'll never forget. I'm at Morgan. I'm like, nah, I don't even want to hear that shit, nigga. I know you did not try to go back to Uptown Anthem to come back with this. And they start rhyming, and here's the funny part. This is a rabbit hole again. They start rhyming, and I said, man, this sounds like the fucking Youngsters. Yo, what year did the Youngsters Aftermath come out? Oh, that dropped April 20th, 1993. When did Down with the King come out? Oh, May 4th, 1993. Yeah. So, and both of them almost on the same thing. I looked at the Youngsters with Cruise Pop, and I'm like, these niggas got bald heads. I'm looking at Run DMC, like, what the fuck? These niggas got bald heads. Like, y'all, it just seemed like this was the time of we just are gonna grab onto whatever's hot right now.
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
And that's what my dad said too. He wasn't mad that I liked it, but he was like, I know what they doing. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's the last hurrah. It's literally the last hurrah.
If anybody watches golf, did you watch the Masters Sunday? Bro, Tiger Woods couldn't even walk, man.
It was he
had to withdraw.
I saw it on Sports Center.
Run DMC couldn't even walk. I'm gonna be honest with you. Besides the two songs that you named, I never listened to that. I never listened to anything after the album after Raising Hell. To today, I'm studying the show. I'm like, I've never heard that. Okay, so out of respect to Run DMC, I'm sitting in the parking lot with my grandson's in his cooking class. So I got 2 hours, and I'm listening to these songs. Skip, skip. It was bad, man. It's like, man, it's like you remember on the Matrix, when old girl was like, not like this. When they was going to unplug. Right. I want to remember Run DMC. It's like I don't want to see them in the casket. I want to remember them at the Omni burning down the stage. So yeah. So that's too painful, dog.
And again, I want listeners to understand that this isn't a knock. This isn't a knock on them. It's just the decline that everybody's going to have. Whether you're an athlete, your numbers are not going to be the same as when you're at your peak. It's why if you pay attention to me, if somebody says, Kill, who you got? Rakim or this person? Rakim and what year? What year are we talking? We talking 87 Rakim? Okay, because you're at a certain time, you're at your height. And we all have a decline. So I don't want anybody to be like, oh, y'all, this is just the history, and we're just breaking down where things went wrong. They also said, I was reading that during the making of Back from Hell, I think it was like Jay was in financial crimes. He owed like the IRS like $300K. DMC was kind of addicted to the alcohol. He was like drinking. He was like an alcoholic or some shit. Like, this would help calm him down to get on stage. And Run was going through depression and a lot. So again, these niggas been touring the world since like '84. That's 6 years of a lot of partying, a lot of rock and roll. You know what I mean? A lot of women, a lot of drugs, a lot of liquor, a lot of traveling, just a lot of mileage on your body, so, but yeah, after that, I was kind of like, I think that was it. What I do want to salute, because we never hear a lot about it, whenever I hear people do talk about Run DMC, is Jam Master Jay, you know what I mean? And again, I think it goes back to a lot of times to just that name, that he's not part of the name, you know what I mean? So, like with JR, I know you remember with the SWV Salt and Pepper show, with the whole Spinderella hoopla, where it's like, with Spin, you weren't part. Like, I've always wondered, was Jay part of the contract? You know what I mean? Or was it just Run and D signed, and then Jay, we just pay you over here? Like how Salt and Pepper was saying with Spinderella, how Spin was never, kind of paid, wasn't signed to the label like they were. But I mean, I think Jam Master Jay, again, was an amazing show DJ. Somebody asked me on Twitter the other day, like, who was like the dopest DJ back then? And I'm like, I gotta say Jeff. But then I also gotta give Jay his props for being an amazing show DJ. And what I mean by that, and Rec, I'm sure you could touch on this, Jay just kept the show moving. Jay kept the Run DMC show like on point. He was a show DJ. He wasn't just the, Eric B just, scratching the record back and forth with his hand. He was going in, like I said, on Daryl and Joe. You could hear him scratching for a good 3 minutes. He was doing his job. And then also, I think I've heard from so many DJs who said, like, Scratch talks about it all the time, how like JMJ was like the person he looked up to. And I think that's same for me. That's what made me want to DJ. And I think it was because it was the first time we were able to see a DJ, at least for me, on a national level. I wasn't able to see what Flash was doing. I wasn't in the Bronx. I wasn't able to see what DJs was doing in the park in Philly. I wasn't in the parks in Philly. You know what I mean? But when I turned on American Bandstand and I saw Jam Master Jay, it was like, yo, that's what I want to do. So I think that's one of the reasons why so many DJs my age kind of gravitate to Jam Master Jay, to say that was the person who I saw who made me want to, do this thing. Rec, what are your thoughts on JMJ as a DJ?
Oh man, not the most technical or technically skilled, like you said. He's not a Jazzy Jeff. He's not gonna robot you from a standpoint of just the perfect thing to death, but from the standpoint of the show, everybody who DJs now and anyone after him, you're taking pages out of his book. Period, point blank. You can't say that you're not. Talking on the microphone, trying to get the crowd hyped up between him, Kid Capri, and anybody else you want to name, going back into the early days of hip hop. he's bringing the Park Jam to the world, because that's really all it was, is the Park Jam, and those elements are what made them who they were. You know, without that, I don't know how deep into a conversation we're gonna have, because with the music, they had the show, and you don't always get that. You may get one or the other, but for him to be able to bring the show to whatever stage they was at, that's key, man. You have to have that. And from what I've heard and what I've been told, he's always been a willing teacher, which is why you have Scratch always talk the way he does about him. And then you got to think, you may not know this, but there's a whole academy that he founded, Scratch Academy.
I never knew that was him.
That's his academy.
So,
His son is like the chair or something now, but that's his academy. That was his vision, and that was what he wanted to do. And he was killed early on during, you know, the making of it. So I'm waiting to be in a city to where I can go to some classes, because that's one of the regrets I have. When I did move back to the States after school, I was living in New York and I didn't go to any Scratch classes. And this is, we talking early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? So that's a regret I have of not going. You know, but now with this next move, don't let them tell me I'm going somewhere and there's a Scratch Academy. Y'all gonna see my black ass going. You know? But that's he is still an extension. He is still a legacy, and it's not gonna die.
Right. And I'm just looking at this poster again. How did I forget the Adidas rope chains with the Adidas on the bottom of it? You know what I mean? They had the gold rope chains, but then they had the Adidas on the bottom of it. And again, JMJ, RIP. I love this joint right there. Being able to have, you got the fader and everything, and like, that's just love right there. So, you know.
Sir, when I saw this, I threw everything else down. I said, man, I don't need shit else out this store.
Yeah, no doubt. So prayerfully, everybody out there who wants to do the homework, because I always tell people, I was talking to Tone about this, Vern, and I was saying, you know, I tread very lightly when talking about fraternities and sororities, because I'm not part of one, but I could only assume that part of the ways to go over and become part of this fraternity is to learn the history.
All day.
So I don't understand why people want to be part of this hip hop fraternity, but don't learn the history. Like, I don't understand that portion of it. And again, maybe because it's, again, to be in a Greek fraternity, you have to go through this process in order to be part of it. With hip hop, you could just wake up and be part of it if you claim you are. But again, if you love it, why wouldn't you want to know the founding members? I think I'd be hard pressed to find an Alpha who didn't know that the founding members of Alpha, Kappa Alpha. I just would be hard pressed. Vern, you're muted.
You can't be an Alpha without knowing the history. You get quizzed on it to cross over. So no, there's no way you can do that.
Right. So again, for me, it's just like when people say, "Oh, I love this culture," because here's the thing: if you want to argue about it for 5 days, I would assume there's some type of flame there. I won't call it passion or love, but there's something there. If you want to argue with me about Master Ace for 4 days, there's something there. So it's just one of those things that if you have that passion and you have that, oh, nigga, I don't want to argue with my wife for more than 40 minutes, and I love the fuck out of her. But I mean, you want to argue for 4 days about a person. There has to be some love or some spark there. So again, I just challenge people, you know, learn the history. It's easier now than ever. You know, you don't have to borrow a person's album. You don't have to go to no library to take out a record. Just go to iTunes or Spotify or Tidal or whatever you pay your monthly payment for, and you literally can have everything. Read a book.
That is the problem.
That is too easy?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, that is the problem.
I agree.
That's the problem. I get on my son about certain things because things are too easy. It's too much in his face. And if I go and hide some shit, he gonna go look for it. Certain things within this culture, I honestly feel need to be hidden, kept away, held at bay, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Because you're gonna have people like how you just talked about arguing with you for 40 days and 40 nights over fucking me and the biz. And it doesn't warrant an argument at all. It's fucking Master Ace. Like, Like for real, do the knowledge. It's fucking Master Ace.
So, Rack, do you think it's a place where one of my AmeriCorps members back in the day was saying, I forgot what country she was from. She was saying something about like there's no legal drinking age or anything like that. And I said, man, it must be crazy over there. She said, nah, totally the opposite. You know, like people, y'all here in the US have so many more accidents and so many more, you know, DUIs and all of that. So do you think it's one of those things where it's like it's almost like I feel like you tell a kid not to do something.
Yeah,
First thing that starts in their mind is, how can I do it?
How am I gonna do it?
Right there for them. It's like, I don't need to look it up, but it's like, but it's hidden. You got to go find it. Then it's okay. And interest.
Well, another thing that is a crisis is this is one of the most uncurious generations ever. Everything is at their disposal. So I not got into it, but you know, sent some back and forth with somebody because I was like, yo, I put on Twitter, I just read that somebody said they asked, was Every Breath You Take really a big song before Puffy used it? And then some dude came at me, some OG, y'all gotta stop acting like, you know, just because y'all know everything. I was like, no, they gotta stop being stupid and ahistorical when a simple 2-second Google search would have told you that Sting and the Police sold over 100 million records. So what are you talking about? I don't expect young people to know everything, but I'm not gonna hold you for not knowing everything. But I'm gonna hold you if you make dumb asinine comments without doing a 2-second Google search. Yeah, I'm gonna be on your neck then, cause you acting like you invented air. No, dog, it was it's years, months, decades before you. And so it's like, bruh, somebody this week said that two Pop Tarts are the greatest songwriters in history. I can't even think who it was. Rolling Stone said it. Mm-hmm. It was like Taylor Swift and somebody were the greatest songwriters ever.
Right.
I didn't even respond, but you know, they got lit up. But it's like, man, again, if you young, I'm not dunking on you for being young. I was young. I didn't know everything, but I was curious. Like, when I heard Tribe or Gangstar, whatever, I was like, yo, that's that song my Uncle John was playing. Oh, you see what that is? A lot of notes. Oh, okay. Then I started connecting dots. There is very little of that. I ain't gonna say it's none of that. But there's very little of that now.
I wish that I had a small percentage of what they have as far as being able to get information.
Listen,
when I was their age, because I couldn't even tell you how that would have done. But the fact that, like you said, we were curious children just by nature. We had no choice. Mm-hmm. We had no choice. If you wanted to go find something, you had to. If you didn't have Britannica encyclopedia in your crib, you had to go to the library. Don't live in the city because you might gotta take the motherfucking bus, dollar cab, or the fucking train to it. Right? They don't have to do any of that, and I think it stunts their growth. And part of that is the bullshit that they come at you or us or whoever with on Twitter.
I will say this. I will always go back to the parents. Mm-hmm. I will always go back to the parents because I totally believe in the concept of planting seeds, watering your seeds, and seeing the harvest. And I'm sure that's what Vern sees with his daughter, is what I see with Naomi. When Naomi is in love with MF Doom, and I would never be a MF Doom fan. She found him on his own. She's made me listen to more Doom and become a fan. You know, but that's from years. And when I tell people, we didn't let Naomi have headphones on in the car. You had to listen to what we were listening to for years. You know what I'm saying? We're one of the few households that still have speakers in our house, that there's music being played throughout the house. You go to that average person's house, there are no speakers.
That's crazy.
Maybe somebody will have a Sonos speaker, somebody may have a Bose speaker, but the majority of people all listen to music in their headphones throughout the house. So again, we have to plant those seeds. And I always challenge parents when parents say, "Oh, I'm a hip hop head." Well, how your kid don't know about hip hop? Oh, well, they just didn't take to it. Well, if you go to church, you make your kids go to church every Sunday, right? I'm sure they ain't take to that right away. I'm sure they probably still hate it to this day, but you make them go, right? Because you play basketball now, your kids play basketball. I'm sure they didn't take to that right away, but you made that motherfucker do it. You know what I mean? So we make our kids do so many things that they don't take to. But then with hip hop, it's just like, okay, that's cool. But you're going to be in soccer, you're going to be in church, and you're going to go to after school program, and you're going to go to Saturday school. Wait, what? So you make them do 4 things over here that they don't take to. But the culture that you love, that you just, your undying, your faith to, you don't teach them nothing about that? So again, I agree with everything you guys are saying. This generation got it all. But I feel like, if you put in the work, you plant those seeds, you water it, you will get a kid like Naomi, who's now putting me on music. Half the music I listen to now is from her. I'm a SZA fan because of her. I'm a Steve Lacy fan because of her. I'm a MF Doom fan because of her. That's what it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? But again, if you didn't take the time to put in and go down the rabbit hole, when's the last time somebody watched a movie with their kid to teach them something about the music they love? Now if you a basketball player and your son played basketball, you probably making that nigga watch every Kobe game 50 times in a row. That nigga's about to kill himself, but you still make him do it. Well, okay, I mean, he didn't want to watch, he didn't want to listen to it, so I just said forget it. But you made this nigga sit here and watch fucking again. Again, and it's the educator in me. It's because I work with kids. It's because I work with parents. If you love the culture that much, that's why I said a lot of parents. I started to show off with a lot of parents, daddies, mamas, cousins, uncles, older brothers, older sisters have dropped the ball. And that's the main thing that I want Apartment 5B to be, that you can come here. You don't have to say, well, where should I start? We done told you where to start. You don't have to, there's no more excuses with us. There's no more excuses. When me and T got married, our pastor said, "Hey, can I give the invitation to Christ?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Because this may be the first time a lot of your friends are in church. This may be the first time they've ever heard about Jesus. So, now they can't say they didn't have the excuse. They heard it. So again, I just want to provide a place where can't nobody come and say, I ain't have nowhere where I can, my daddy didn't teach me, my mama ain't teach me. Well, Apartment 5B taught you. I tell people all the time, you may not know shit about hip hop, come and watch 40 episodes and do the homework, you will have an associate's degree in hip hop.
That's right.
I think it's about a baptism.
If you do the homework, if you go back and you're actually listening to these songs and listening to these, and then the other thing is after you take the class, sometimes what you have to do, you have to set up some time with your professor to get some extra help. So after you do all that, it's reaching out to one of us to be like, okay, Vern, I listen to such and such. What's next? Or what's this? Or what was that? This generation will read a book and then they want to come argue with you. Like, Nick, no, you don't argue with me. You ask more questions. Like, I would never read I've seen the Temptations thousands of times. I'm never going to call my mom like, yeah, I bet you ain't know such. Nah, I call like, hey, well, I saw this in the movie. Was this true? And was this? So again, we got to work together, y'all. We got to work together because eventually we got to leave this hip hop in good hands. And I do not want to leave it in the hands of people who do not know that you can't like Chance the Rapper and Benny the Butcher at the same time. That's almost like you can chew and walk, blow bubbles at the same time. Or what is it? Walk and blow bubbles, whatever.
Walk and chew bubble gum.
Yeah, dudes, 2 things at once. I need to be better. I done messed up everything. I'm messing up sayings. I done messed up. That's what friends are for. It's been a long night. JR, let them know where they can get at you. Everything that you got going on with the R&B raps.
At the R&B raps, man. Some dope episodes coming out too. Well, when this comes out, it will be. We did an episode with Cal, and we did Donnell Jones, Where I Want to Be, and we talked about every song because we feel like he doesn't get a lot of praise in R&B a lot. A lot of people don't talk about him, and it's as far as his songwriting and all that, and what he did before then, and how that album is such a staple, and people need to understand that. So we get into the history of the album. We talk about every song, and we really get into it. it's really a dope episode. So definitely that's the new episode that's gonna be out. But follow us at the R&B Reps on Instagram, R&B Reps on Twitter, rnbreps.com for some merchandise, all that good stuff. And Junior's World of Soul on Instagram and Twitter.
Damn, I had a show for you. I gotta remember what it was. All right, Rec, where can they get at you? Where are these Twitch Clubhouse that this shit is like a weekly block party.
Yes, and they got people tired going to work.
It's like the Black Lily in Philly back in the day. When are these DJ Rec One park jams going on, man?
So, man, it's the foundation. Monday nights, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, roughly till about 11. I try not to go too long because I know that I'm not on the same time zone as everybody else, but just trying to bring the nostalgia back and play some dope hip hop, man, or dope music in general, because it's not just hip hop that I play. But it's every Monday, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. Log into Twitch, get yourself an account. They're gonna ask for everything under the sun. Once you do that, make sure you follow me, and it's at DJ Rec One, and you'll get all the notifications when I'm on. Still doing the radio shows. That ain't gonna never stop. I'm on about 4 stations right now consistently throughout the year. So I think next year I might take it down a little bit, man. As far as the radio stations, it's getting a little crazy. But right now it's picking up. Summertime's coming. I got some gigs coming up. I'm already booked into November. So it's moving, man.
Let me say I'm proud of you, brother, because I remember when we connected, I don't think you were on the radio.
I wasn't on nothing. My equipment wasn't even hooked up.
Right. It's truly amazing and a blessing to see everything that you're doing, to the point that you may have to cut back on some gigs. So it's definitely dope to see what you're doing. Vern, where can they get at you for a crib, man?
On Instagram at V the Loan Closer, Twitter V Chandler 10. Yep. Simple as that.
And y'all already know what it is with me. Kill 889 Twitter, IG. I am blocking folk on site.
Thank you.
I'm blocking them all.
No.
I realize there's certain people that I'm like will reply to me, and it's just always something you're disagreeing with everything. But here's the wild part: they don't even follow me. So I'm just blocking you on site there, because I'll be like, yo, you don't even follow me.
Arguing with people that don't even follow you.
How are you disagreeing with something? You know what I mean? Like, bro, I'm like, yo, if I say the sun is yellow, you're gonna say it's blue. Like, it's literally that. And it's just like, you know what? Just block you. Just get you up out of here and everything like that. But yeah, Kill 889 Twitter, IG. I will check y'all next week, good peoples.